How's it going? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone. This is the channel where you come to learn all kinds of stuff about guitar tech and tone and signal chain, and you can check out our videos every week on youtube.com/Dylan Talks Tone. The live thing is something new. I want to put this together and maybe do one of these once a week, maybe with some FAQs or a Q&A session with viewers. You can actually go over to the YouTube live stream underneath the whole video here and be a part of the conversation. So do me a favor and do that if you would, and say hi. I'll try to keep up as best I can. We're going to talk about what our content today. The theme of it is we want to talk about hardware. We want to talk about why it's really not important to waste a ton of money on really expensive hardware. There is really good hardware that has been used on a lot of builds and a lot of vintage guitars and stuff over the years that is really high quality stuff. And we're going to show you where you can get it, what we use at Dylan Custom Guitars, and why. I'll just kind of run through some of the stuff. Feel free to add some comments down there, ask some questions, and at the end of this video, we will go over some of those frequently asked questions. That'd be fantastic. So let's just jump into it. One of the main brands that we use here at DylanTalksTone.com and Dylan Custom Guitars is Kluson. And I'll show you a couple of guitars and a couple of examples of this. This guitar here, this is an Esquire build, a Dylan Esquire build that we did. And this is the kind of the traditional Kluson ashtray bridge, right? A lot of people are going to go spend $100 or more on a bridge that is supposed to be better for no real tangible reason. Kluson bridges are fantastic. They're available in chrome. They're available in black and gold and nickel. Now this one is in nickel, and we actually took it apart and aged it and put it back together. So it's a high quality bridge. As you can see, this one does not have compensated saddles, but we actually can put compensated saddles in them, which is really cool. So there's really, the thing about these bridges is that they were made, they were on Fender guitars for many, many, many years. And so that's why we use them, because, the late 50s, the early and mid 60s, in my opinion, are like the highest quality Fender guitars there are. A lot of the stuff that we build, I like to model after and use the same quality stuff as like the mid 60s, pre-CBS and transition years Fender guitars. And so that's really why we like to stick to the Kluson stuff. Now, like I said, this one does not have compensated saddles. It tunes and compensates and plays really well. But if you wanted compensated saddles, that is a change that we could definitely make for you. And if you order it from our website, we'll show you how to do that in just a second. We can actually make the compensated saddles available as well. The other hardware that we use a lot is the Kluson double line tuner. Now this is just a normal safety post. We might do a quick tip in the next few days for our YouTube channel that talks about the safety post, because a lot of people don't really understand how to use safety posts, or maybe they don't know how to trim the strings to do it properly. But once you get it right, once you understand how long the string is, it's a really fast and easy quick change. And like I said, these were used in the early and mid 60s on Fenders. They're a quality tuner. These are the ones. These are the Kluson double line tuners. So if you have a less expensive or a import version of a vintage Fender, they may have a foreign knockoff of these tuners on them. They are available at our website, and you can actually just order them and bolt them right on with no real issues. You just put them on. So they work really well. The cool part about these tuners is they come in a locking version as well. Let me show you that. on our Dylan Strat here, we have the locking version of that same tuner. And it's really cool because it looks just like a normal double line, right? It's no heavier, because a lot of locking tuners are very heavy. But this one is no heavier, and it just has that little cap on the top. So, you know, from playing distance away, you can't even really tell that it's not vintage correct. And it gives you the convenience for string changes that a locking tuner will give you. I think it's really, really cool. Let's see. And we will get to some FAQs, and we'll talk to you just a few minutes. So that's a really cool deal. We also use the Kluson Strat style bridges. We use Kluson and Wilkinson, but for Strat stuff, I really like the Kluson bridge. I think it is the closest to Fender quality. Well, they used them for a long time, so I really dig them. Some of the cheaper knockoff versions don't have as good of like tremolo bar joints and stuff, so they get kind of floppy and rattly, and the saddles are not as nice of stamping. There are some other brands that, you know, they're okay, but to me, Kluson is really where it's at for those. So that is another bridge that we carry. Let me show you, let's see what else we got. Let me show you Wilkinson, one of the Wilkinson products that I really like, that we do carry and that we do use a lot. Because when people talk about compensated bridges, this is where they start to get into spending a lot of money, and I don't believe that there is any reason for this. So let's talk about Wilkinson compensated bridges for just a second. This is a Dylan Custom Esquire that we completed a few weeks ago, and as you can see, this one has the Wilkinson compensated bridge, okay, with the Wilkinson saddles. This is just as high quality of a bridge. A lot of people look at Wilkinson and say, well, it's a little cheaper. I should go get a Callahan, or I should go get a Rudders. Man, there's really no reason to spend a ton of money when this bridge will do just fine. I'll tell you a funny story. There are a few customers and a few builders that buy stuff from us, and they will send me videos of other brands of bridges. And we buy the stuff, we try the stuff, and if it makes a good difference, we will use it. I mean, I'm using this stuff on my own custom builds. And my own personal guitars. You know, my purple Tele down here, that's my personal Tele. This is the stuff that I have on it. But those really expensive ones, those really expensive bridges and hardware, they are handcrafted to a point which makes sense. So I guess that gives them a little bit of legitimacy for their price. However, they don't really give you any practical value to the guitar. Now, I had a viewer send me a video of that one brand, and I don't even remember which one it is, where they hang up 3 ashtrays from nails and they ding them like bells, and they're like, well, this one dings more, so it must be better. It's honestly just a bunch of snake oil. You know, I'm going to be the first one to kind of call out the snake oil stuff. A bridge is a bridge. And you can make it as thick as you want, you can make it as pretty as you want, and you can make it as expensive as you want. And you're not going to give yourself any practical value by spending those dollars. Now let's say, okay, so let's say you're going to spend $100 on a bridge. Is it $75 better or $50 better than the other one? It might be $10 better, but it's not $50. It's not $100 better than another bridge. So, you know, I'm just going to be super straight with you on that stuff. The hardware is, when it comes to like a Tele bridge, that it's just kind of bogus. Now, tuners, on the other hand, that's a different story. Tuners can strip out. They can have very low ratios and not tune very smoothly. But this stuff, what I like about, and I didn't mention this before, what I like about the Kluson stuff that they're making now is it's all the same, you know, looks and everything, but they are higher ratios than the older ones, and so they do tune more smoothly than the older ones, which I really think is killer. So Wilkinson, Kluson, those are a couple things we use. Let's go on to Bigsby. Bigsby is super fun. So let's go on to Bigsby, and I'm going to show you, because I love Bigsby's. We build a lot of Bigsby guitars, and we do a lot of installs for other people. So let me grab one. Let me grab two, and we'll talk about a couple of different kind of Bigsby's that we like here at Dylan Talks Tone. Okay, so around Dylan Talks Tone, you're going to see a couple of different Bigsby's. This is my favorite. This is the Bigsby B16, okay? And this is the one that incorporates a Telecaster bridge inside the tailpiece itself. It also has the Sorkin bow tie self-pivoting bridge. Now, a lot of tuning instability comes on a Bigsby when you have friction problems, and because this bridge tilts back and forth, you don't have those friction problems. It's very, very cool. This is one case where spending money is gonna be a thing. If you notice at DylanTalksTone.com, we do not actually stock or carry any of the imported Bigsby's. We only carry the American ones. They're a little more expensive, but it does make a difference in the bearings and some of the bushings and stuff that come in them. I think they work better. I have installed a lot of both, and I feel like the American ones do work better. So those are the ones that we stock. This is a really, really cool Bigsby. If you want one of these, you want to try one, please let me know. We do carry them. We'll show you where to do that in just a second, where to get them in just a second. And if you have any install issues or problems, let me know, because we have lots of Bigsby resources on our YouTube channel. You know, Dylan Talks Tone YouTube channel that you're watching right now. So there's that one. That's less common. You don't see these very often, but they're a really fun experiment. This is what you see more commonly. This is your Bigsby B5. Now this has what people consider to be a conversion kit, but it actually is not. This guitar was designed with no string holes, so it was built with this Bigsby on it. But you can buy this as a conversion kit that will convert your Bigsby to, or a non-Bigsby guitar to a Bigsby guitar. This also is a pivoting bridge, and this is an American B5 Bigsby. We carry these as well. We also carry a couple of different bridge types, and I'm working on a ashtray conversion bridge that I'm hoping to have available on our website very soon. Really super cool hardware. So I just wanted to run through some of the hardware that we're using here at Dylan Talks Tone that we have available. You know, the biggest reason I wanted to talk about it, like I said, is because it is not necessary to spend tons of money to have a quality product. These are really widely known products. They're really, you know, Kluson, Bigsby, and Wilkinson. And there's no reason not to use them. If you have any questions or concerns or reservations about it, definitely let me know, because we can talk about some further details maybe I have missed. I'll tell you what, let's go to the computer and see if there's anybody's asked any questions. Let's see. Medicated one says, I always thought mass equals sustain when it came to trem bridges, the bridge block being one of the most important things as far as sustain. Okay, you are right. So if we're talking about a Strat, the sustain block can make a big difference. In fact, I believe that we have added those to our website. So what I'd like to do at this time, and as we're talking about that, we'll discuss that. So let's go over, I want to show you, this is the Dylan Talks Tone website. And if we go over here to replacement parts, this is where you're going to find all of the things that we just discussed. And as you will see right here, Kluson replacement tone block for our Kluson bridges. So this is where we're going to have available brass, steel, and aluminum to change out for the Strat bridges that you were asking about. And as you see here, $29.95. They are not expensive. Some of the other bridges, some of the other aftermarket ones from some other companies are very, very expensive. So check that out. It's pretty cool. And you see here we have our Kluson vintage style tremolo. And it's not just the tremolo. It actually comes with all of the necessary hardware to do the complete install. So the stuff is competitively priced. We have, let's see, the vintage tuners, the double line vintage style tuners. A couple of things I did not mention in this video: electro socket jack cups, $449. Those things are super cool. And then of course we have loaded pick guards, we have switches and all that sort of stuff. But this is where you can find all of that hardware that we just discussed. Here is also a thing. We also have the compensated barrels that you could just replace your straight ones. You know, in your mid-60s guitar, if you don't want to change a vintage guitar up too much, you don't want to change out the hardware, this is a very economical way to get some compensation in there without ruining, quote unquote, ruining an old guitar. And it's perfectly reversible if you wanted to go back to, you know, the original stuff. On the second page here, we do have Spurzl trim lock as well, because we do use Spurzl tuners from time to time. We do carry Vibramates. However, I do not personally like them for a Bigsby install. I'm not as big of a fan of them. Here is a hardtail bridge for a Strat or a Tele that you could use. Here's your Wilkinson, and here is the Wilkinson Shorty as well. So we have the short bridges and the long bridges for Teles in Kluson and Wilkinson varieties, as well as our Bigsby B5 vibrato and our Bigsby B16 vibrato. Now, something I should definitely mention to you, if you are shopping for hardware, if you're building a guitar, if you're doing modifications to a guitar and you come to the website and you're like, well, I actually need a B7 or I need a different Bigsby. This is the stuff that we use the most of, but that doesn't mean I cannot get you something else. We also carry Grover. We also carry Hipshot. We also carry, there's many other brands that we do carry, but the stuff that we put on the website is the stuff we like the most and that we use the most of, so that's kind of why it's there. If you need anything hardware related, pick guards, loaded pick guards for a guitar that you don't see there. We do the Tele ones and the Strat ones, but what about Mustangs? What about jazz basses? What about precision basses? All that stuff, just shoot me a message. If you're like, you know, I need some hardware, or I'm putting together a pickup combination that nobody's ever done before. Maybe I want to do a P90 and a Tele and I can't find the right pick guard for it. Let me know. Many colors, many pick guard options, as well as custom cut pick guards. We had a customer a couple of months ago who came in and asked for 2 different generations of Sadowski pick guards that we actually had to pencil sketch, draw, custom cut, and get to the customer. It was not that expensive to do in relation to other custom pick guards, and the result was really nice. So that's it. My name is Dylan. This is Dylan Talks Tone, obviously, on our YouTube channel, doing something live. Let me know. Hit a like, a share, anything to let me know if you think this is cool. I want to do one a week, and this is just talking about some product stuff, but we could get more technical too. Leave some comments on this video, even if you're watching it in replay, and let me know what you want to see, what you want to talk about, what you want to hear, and we'll start maybe doing about one a week or so live at first, and maybe if I need to do more, I need to do more. Let's give one more gander over here to our FAQ. How much do you really notice Verge asks, how much difference do you really notice between sustain with a Bigsby versus body through stringing? That is a pretty hot topic. A lot of people think that you lose sustain. What I will say about that is it changes. Okay. And this is a little bit controversial topic, but we'll talk about it for just a second. I'll show you what I mean. It's easier to visualize, okay? When you look at a normal telly, that breakover angle of the string goes steeply into the body, right? It like goes over the saddle and then cuts straight into the body, okay? Now on a Bigsby, that angle is a lot softer, right? And not only that, it actually has more string from here underneath the keeper bar, over the anchor bar, and around and underneath. So there's, you got maybe, 6 inches or 5 inches of string past the saddle, okay? That always changes the playing dynamics of the guitar. When you change the length of the string behind the saddle, if it breaks steeply over and goes straight into the body, it can change, it does change the amount of friction. It changes the amount of give that the string can have. So more than changing sustain, because if you probably measured like how long that rings out till it stops, right? I mean, it's still going. It's still going. I mean, we'd have to sit here with a stopwatch and really get methodical about it and do it, but, versus a telly over here. But more so than that, it will change the playing dynamics of the guitar. It will also change, you'll get a bunch of little, those kind of, those kind of sounds and dynamics from behind the bridge. Even when you're playing, you don't do that or something, unless you're Soundgarden. Soundgarden did that all the time. But when you're playing just with the Bigsby like this, it does change the dynamics of the guitar. I don't want to say it kills sustain, because it doesn't. People think anything different than what it was before is killing something. I don't always think that it's taking something away. It's just changing the playing dynamics. It makes you play differently. So therefore, yeah, maybe the tone changes a little bit. Just because the guitar feels just a little differently. Let's see. Yeah. Cool. Man, I really appreciate everybody watching this thing. Let me know in what you want to hear in the future, because these are fun. And I really enjoy the interaction with the viewers. We make videos all the time, and I feel like I'm talking to myself, obviously, when I'm making the video, and ultimately trying to help as many people as possible. So I really appreciate the interaction here. It's super fun. And what we'll do is keep an eye on this video, ask questions, ask more questions. Maybe we'll shoot another little shorter one out talking about the possibility of doing a video every week and a little FAQ or question and answer afterwards. And maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it again. Maybe we'll do it some more. I really appreciate everybody. Please share this around, like it up, and make sure you hit the little like button, hit the little share button. That always helps everything. And I really appreciate it. You guys have a great day. Thanks for joining us.